joining us for our webinar. I'm your moderator this morning, Marianne Westerland with Intact Pre-Arrival Services in Vancouver, and I will be taking you through our presentation today. So thank you for joining us. Before we start today, I would just like to take you through a couple slides to tell you a bit about Intact Pre-Arrival Services if you're not familiar already. So we are Intact Pre-Arrival Services. We're funded by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada in partnership with International Talent Acquisition Centre, Intact in Ottawa, Immigrant Services Society of British Columbia, and the Immigrant Services Society of Calgary. We help prepare clients to immigrate to Canada so they have a faster, more efficient economic and social integration into Canadian society. And our mission is to help businesses fill their expertise gaps with internationally educated professionals to find jobs in their fields when they come to Canada. How we serve. So we provide settlement and employment counseling services. And our settlement counselors are your first point of contact when you reach out to Intact. They can assist you with all your pre-arrival related questions, recommend webinars and workshops to attend. They can help you with one-on-one consultation to advise you on Canadian equivalency jobs, assist you with resume updates and job matching and mock interviews. And on the employment side, I'm a business development officer with Intact, and the business development officers can assist you with building partnerships, identifying job leads, introductions to employers, and we can also help you with job matching and mock interviews. And we also organize our very popular virtual career expo. So a little bit about us. So welcome to Discover Canada, More Options, Better Opportunities, Kamloops, BC. Today we will introduce you to a small community in British Columbia called Kamloops. It's located in the Thompson-Okanagan Valley region of BC, and it is a destination with limitless outdoor recreational activities and natural beauty. Its geography is diversified, is matched only by its cultural diversity. So over the next hour, 60 minutes, we will be presenting to you to our host, who I'll introduce in a moment, and we will be looking at why people move to Kamloops, who lives in Kamloops, a bit about the economic outlook, community resources, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask your questions at the end during our Q&A. So I would like to introduce you to our speaker. We're very happy and pleased to have Marshall Chen with us today, this morning. He's a job developer and wage subsidy advisor with GT Hiring Solutions in Chilliwack, and has lived in the Kamloops area for more than 15 years, so he's going to have a wealth of information to share with you. He has insider knowledge about living and working in Kamloops, and he'll talk to you about the economy and jobs and housing, education, healthcare, community resources. Marshall is also trilingual. He's fluent in English, Mandarin, and Cantonese, so feel free to ask your questions in Chinese if you would like. So Marshall, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're so pleased to have you, and maybe you could greet everyone this morning and tell them a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me today, Marianne. Good morning, everyone. 早上好. 早晨大家. My name is Marshall Chen. So like Marianne said, I live in Kamloops for more than 15 years. Now I am a job developer and a wage subsidy advisor at GT Hiring Solutions, Work BC in Chilliwack. Back in 2001, I moved to Kamloops to have my university degree, and that was with Thompson Rivers University. After my graduation, it was very fortunate that I can utilize my degree to work as a marketing manager. And around 2012, actually, I changed my career to employment service, and to where I am right now. I've been with the employment service for more than 5 years now. So my background, I'm from an international student right now to a citizen of Canada, and I feel very lucky to actually live in Kamloops, and it was a wonderful experience for there for my education, my work, and also my life there. So yeah, that's me.
Great. Thank you, Marshall, so much for that. We're going to move into our presentation in just a moment. I think we're having a technical issue, but we're going to try and pick up on slide 7, which is why move to Kamloops. So we'll catch up with the visual in a moment, but maybe you could take us through slide 7 about all the great things about Kamloops.
Okay, for sure. Kamloops is a city in south central BC. So it actually, the word Kamloops, comes from the Squapan language, which is called Sichuan people, the First Nation, Kamloops. So meaning where the rivers meet. So Thompson Rivers is where the rivers are about. So we flow together of the north and south Thompson Rivers. So Kamloops is a meeting place. It's a hub of transportation, and also is known as a hub city because there's 4 of the province major highway meets, Highway 5 and Highway 97, Trans-Canada Highway, and Yellowhead Highway. So also there's a railway transportation hub as well. So the CN and CP, the main line routes connect Vancouver, BC in the west with Kamloops. And also it diverges to the north and east where they connect with the rest of the Canada. So Kamloops actually is a economic hub with links across the province, the country, and also the world. In addition to that, Kamloops has a busy regional airport connecting residents to all parts of the globe. Also, the airline currently flying to Kamloops are Air Canada Express and also WestJet, Canadian North, and Central Mountain Air, plus the 3 cargo airlines as well. Kamloops also is a vibrant community and affordable lifestyle. It has a world-class recreation. It has known as the name Canada's tournament capital. So Kamloops hosted all this, in 1993, Kamloops hosted Canada Summer Games, and it co-hosts the 2006 IIHF World U20 Championship as well. So it still right now hosts the Canadian trademark as the Canada's tournament capital. And so again, it's a really nice place for all the seasons. It has 4 distinct seasons. So people might think about, Kamloops, what about the snow? Is it really cold? Kamloops has really a mild winter, actually, but it has really distinct seasons, which means the average number of the days where temperature which is below -10 actually is really short. It's only like 20 days, something like that, so 3 weeks only. The highest temperature ever recorded was like back in 1939, so that's a really long time ago. But Kamloops enjoys the mild winters with the surrounding mountains, so with tons of snow for a variety of snow sports as well. So we're going to talk about that later. So it has really diverse economy, so it's ready for business. So doing business in Kamloops, it's a really good opportunity because the lower cost of doing business in Kamloops is a primary reason so many businesses set up there. The tax incentive, easy to access business resources and support, plus the diverse opportunity for business making Kamloops a leading community in the BC in which to invest. So both residential and commercial rates in Kamloops and region area are substantially lower than our counterparts in Lower Mainland. So the lifestyle, the people who are needing in Kamloops, which are highly educated and experienced workforces. Right. So we can go to the next slide. Okay. So who lives in Kamloops? People looking for like higher quality of life, or they love nature and then outdoors. Kamloops actually has a really, like I said again, it's a tournament capital of Canada, and then also there are a couple of resorts that people can go to. The Sun Peaks Resort is only about 45 minutes away from Kamloops downtown, and it has 3,678 acres of playground, and is the second largest ski area in BC and the third largest in Canada. So including opportunity for cross-country skiing, dog sledding, sleigh rides, and of course downhill skiing and snowboarding. Kamloops is home to the Western Hockey League. So Kamloops Blazers, who play at the Salmon Center. People will also appreciate the affordability and accessibility because all the resources you can get. Again, Thompson River University, that's where I graduated from. It has a really huge population of international students, and a lot of people enjoy having their degree over there. Kamloops is business-oriented. You can get a lot of entrepreneurial support from there. All right. So who lives in Kamloops? Now, Kamloops actually has a variety of population in there. So the majority are the Caucasians, which is 84.2%. And for people who are right now in this meeting here, when we talk about Chinese population there will be 1.3%, which around 1,100 people of Chinese living in Kamloops. And like I said, again, there's a lot of international students there, so there's a lot of opportunity if you're trying to do business with that particular specialized population as well. And these are the major industries in Kamloops: transportation, logistics, healthcare, forestry, manufacturing, agricultural, retail, and mining. I want to talk about the, sorry, just 1 second here. So when talking about agricultural, so Kamloops actually has a really good place to do the agriculture because of the weather. The city of Kamloops economy is strong and diverse because the forestry, mining, and retail and agriculture has always anchored the economy of Kamloops as a core and driver industry. So today, this industry marks a significant export activity as well. So when we're talking about the second slide here, about the, sorry, I think I get back to you, sorry. So again, I want to talk about a little bit about emerging industry as well. So high technology, green energy, and tourism, they are the other three emerging industry as well, besides these 7 industry here. In 2017, this year actually, Kamloops, Tourism Kamloops actually, they complete a first ever value of tourism analysis, and the results are clear. The tourism actually is a key economy driver as well for the city. The study estimates the tourism economy impact is about $377 million. So talking about that, it's a really good opportunity if you consider some tourism business in Kamloops. The agriculture, like I mentioned, the Thompson River Basin area supports a wide range of crops, including fruits, vegetables, and the large valley with lakes and rivers provide all this fertile soil and the readily available water supplies. Beef production, again, continues to be the primary agricultural activity in the region. The beef industry, along with the company crops and small dairy, accounts for 85 to 90% of total agricultural acres. So both in the BC, both the BC Cattlemen Association and the BC Livestock Producers Co-op Association are headquartered in Kamloops. So where are the jobs opportunities in Kamloops? Kamloops, again, is variety. So there's a services, retail and wholesale, construction, government, transportation, warehousing, and public utilities. Manufacturing, finance, insurance, and real estate. There's really a variety of different types of jobs that you can get, even high-tech opportunities as well. The major employers and number of employers here. So we look at the numbers back in 2014. The Interior Health Authority, which plays the major employer in Kamloops. Interior Health is the publicly funded healthcare provider in the southern interior area of BC. It provides a service to 743,000 people of the region, including large cities such as Kelowna, which is next to Kamloops, for sure Kamloops, Cranbrook, Penticton, and Vernon, and also the multitude of rural and remote communities. School district number 73, so that is the second largest major employer in Kamloops. And then we have the Highland Valley Copper Mine. Again, mining is a big industry in Kamloops. Thompson Rivers University, it plays a major role as well. The population, the number of international students is being increasing every single year. So the need for the staff for the university is quite substantial. City of Kamloops, Horizon North, which is the industry division supply workforce accommodation, camp management services, access solution, and maintenance to the oil and gas industry in the Western Canada. BC Lottery Corporation, which is the Canadian gaming company offering a range of gambling products, including lottery tickets, casinos, and legal online gambling. So its headquarters actually is in Kamloops. So the secondary office actually is in Vancouver, but Kamloops has their head office. New Gold Afton, CN Rail, Domtar is a pulp mill, and Aero Transport, again, transportation is one of the biggest industry as well in Kamloops. So finding jobs in Kamloops, it's, I mean, for me, I was an international student to start with, and later on became a citizen of Canada. And finding a job in Kamloops, you can get a lot of support from. WorkBC is one of the services that you can access to. So in Kamloops, there are two WorkBC employment service centers operated by Open Door Group. And ISSBC, we have our case manager over there as well to helping people with for immigrant population. And the Kamloops Cariboo Regional Immigrant Society, actually, they provide support to people, again, immigrant population as well. They provide support with even ESL classes, and also for sure job search support. Kamloops Chinese Cultural Association is another association that helping connecting people together, and also helping them to get jobs in Canada and get settlements. Okay. Here is the list of some job search engine that most people utilize nowadays in Canada. So Indeed, Wild Jobs, or WorkBC website is a really good website. If people ever want to find out the job that's in Canada, what they require, or what is the wage looks like, or what is the most needed, so you want to find out where it's most needed, that WorkBC website can have a great help to you. Craigslist, again, is a website that you can utilize for finding jobs. Visa, BC Jobs, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn Profile is a new tool that people use for professional job search as well. Here are some lists as well for community resources. We have the Thompson Nicola Region District Library System. So library actually provide a lot of support to people who are just new to the area and they want to know more about resources and support. They do have basic computer skill support as well, and other community resources guidance. They got tons of information that you can get from. Visit center, if you ever want to think about doing outdoor sports, or you want to find out what are the surrounding parks, resources as well, those type of things. A visit center is a good location to find out more information. tourism Kamloops as well. It's all about again, tourism Kamloops is much more towards tourism. Like I said, tourism plays a big economic drive nowadays. We have Kamloops Immigrant Service on down below, and also Chinese Cultural Association, and for sure ISS of BC, and Open the Blue Hoods with BC Center over there. I believe Marianne will provide all the links in the slides as well later on. Okay. Education facility and programs. So Kamloops actually, like I said, I graduated from the Thompson Rivers University. It's one of the largest university in Interior. And TRU, that's what we normally call that. So TRU is one of the schools there as well. There are other smaller colleges like Squashar Community College provide some programs as well. But Thompson Rivers University, actually, they do have, just a second here, I have a slide talking about that. Yeah. So Thompson Rivers University is a public teaching and research university offering undergraduate and graduate degrees and vocational training. So its main campus is in Kamloops, and its name comes from the two rivers which converge in Kamloops, so in North Thompson and South Thompson. The university actually has a satellite campus in Williams Lake, and also a distant education called TRU Open, so TRU Open Learning. Also, it has several international partnerships through its TRU World Division, so such as the Tianjin University of Technology actually has a partnership with Thompson Rivers University. It offers about 140 on-campus programs and approximately 60 online and distance programs through the Open Learning Division. Shall we go back to the slide? Okay. So healthcare facilities. Interior Health Authority is a biggest employer as well in Kamloops. Like I said before, so you provide a lot of support. And yes, so Kamloops is a regional health center for Thompson and Nicola Region District. So the medical services in Kamloops are extensive, and including a wide range of resources and support. So here's a website actually you can go to check it out. And also, you want to find services, there's another link underneath that you can click on. Just type in the city name, and you can definitely find all this information about the service rating you can find. All right. So public safety. So Kamloops actually is a really safe area, and the reason I picked Kamloops when I came to Canada back in 2001 is I know, first of all, I want to learn English. Secondly, I want to find a place that's safe enough, right? So the public safety is really good in Kamloops. You don't really hear any, bad news on broadcasts actually. So Kamloops is quite a safe and friendly community. For public transportation, we do have BC Transit in Kamloops, and recently actually they increased their service as well. So it's really accessible. You can get to anywhere just by BC Transit. You don't necessarily have a vehicle, your car. But yeah, for sure, because Kamloops, again, is a spread out community. If you ever consider purchasing a vehicle, that's good because you can also go out to the other sports area. But again, the transit is accessible to those resorts as well. And now we're talking about housing. A lot of people consider buying a house in BC or in Canada. So when you're comparing all the prices across Canada, so what are the best way? Look at all the stats. The Canadian Real Estate Association, they have some information for you. The average home price right now, we're talking about single house, it was $363,380. For sure, if we're looking at Center Kamloops area, that's around a little bit slightly above the number, I would say $420,000. But if you're looking at a more remote area, or not necessarily remote, but a little bit further out of the central city, you're looking at around even say under 300. Now, for me, for example, I purchased a townhouse. You can see that picture right there. I believe it's one of the townhouses. So I purchased a townhouse back in 2010. Is around 270,000. That's right in Kamloops center area. So the cost of the housing is actually 50% less than Greater Vancouver. So it's really affordable, and then if you want to do an investment as well, it's really good. It's a booming industry, booming community as well. Here's a website as well, the realtor.ca. You can always get more information about the housing or listing about house. So we're talking about house, not necessarily just about house. You can buy apartments, which is really affordable. There's rental, and it's townhouse, and also we're talking about single house as well. Okay. Is it correct slides? Yeah, okay. The parks, recreation, and cultural services. So the picture I have here is that is the Thompson Rivers, the actually Tournament Capital Center, that right next to Thompson Rivers University. The far back, you can see there's a high-rise building there. Actually, that is a residential dormitory for international students. This area it was hosting summer games over there, and it has a really huge running field, and also the basketball field indoor, and also the swimming pool indoor as well. It acts as a community center, people holding events in there, and Kamloops has lots of parks, lots of lakes as well. If everything consider fishing, golfing, it's always you can always find a place to go. Now I can talk about the recreation as well. I'm talking about two resources. One is the Sun Peaks, and the other one would be the Harper Mountain. So let's see, just look at it. Thank you. So Harper Mountain actually is really close by, only 20 minutes drive from downtown Kamloops. It's a really great family mountain. I always have fun with my daughters over there. Sun Peak Resort actually is 45 minutes away from Kamloops, but it's a really, really nice place. It has over 3,000 acres as well. So that is a really good, nice place, like I mentioned earlier. So you can see all these pictures here. We have snow, so that's really great for snowboarding, skiing, cross-country skiing, hiking, golfing. There's a place called Tobiano, actually. There's a golf course over there. It's a really, really nice golf course. Some place actually has a golf course as well. Wine tasting, and recently Kamloops actually set up a wine trail. Back in, I think last year, so the wine trail, it has, just lost my, oh, right here. Sorry, the Kamloops Wine Trail brings together a group of 3 local wineries pioneering a new wine region in the Kamloops area. So it has 3 licensed wineries and 6 vineyards, so about 78 acres. So if everybody who interested in wine or loves tasting wine, it's a great place to go to as well. Mountain biking, again, Kamloops are well known for that because of the there's one of sports in Kamloops. Let's see here, just a second. Yeah, mountain biking is really a popular sport in Kamloops as well. So every detailed information, if you want to look it up, is tourismkamloops.com and also kamloopswinetrail.com. You can get more information about wine tasting. Okay. Other resources that you may be able to find, this is on the list of the websites. Venture Kamloops, they give you more detailed information about why choosing Kamloops. And there's one document which is really good, the Kamloops Site Selector Guide. It provides a lot of numbers, statistics around why choosing Kamloops. Welcome BC and Work BC, Tourism Kamloops, and Census Profile. this all give you more detailed information about Kanloop's, why you want to choose Kanloop. All right. So.
Okay, Marshall, I think it's back to me now. Thank you for that was a really great presentation on Kanloop. It's incredibly fast and covered a lot of topics. We're really looking forward to receiving questions during questions and answer period, which we're going to move into very shortly. While everyone's thinking about their questions, I'm just going to tell you a bit about some of the upcoming events at INTAC in the end of October. So thank you, Marshall. Please stay with us for our Q&A session coming up in a couple minutes. Okay, so coming up at INTAC on October 24th at 8 p.m. Beijing time will be School Your Child. So you'll learn everything you need to know about school, public school, private school options for if you're moving to Ontario. On the 25th, at 8 p.m. we have Discover Canada, Lambton County, Ontario. So we're doing a big Ontario focus the end of October. And on the 26th at 8 p.m., Taxation System in Canada. So be sure to attend that one. Those are always very popular sessions. We'll have a speaker and it'll give you lots of great tips on the Canadian Taxation Act and how to handle all your assets and file tax returns, all those good things. Please, I encourage you to pre-register at www.in-tac.pre-arrival.ca calendar. So just look for the intac.pre-arrival site and go to the calendar and sign up for our upcoming webinars. Great, thank you. Okay, so now is the fun time. We're going to do question and answer for about the next 25 minutes. So please do send us your questions. And I will probably, Marshall, what I'll do is read them to you in English. And feel free if you'd like to answer in Chinese or English, whatever you prefer. Mix it all up. Okay. All right. So our first question we've received is, can you talk a bit more about elementary schools in Kamloops, and where can I find details about elementary school?
Okay, so this one slide I talk about the school district number 73, which is in Kamloops.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. There, okay.
Yes. Let me go back to my notes here in a second. That's slide number 18.
Great. And also maybe while you're talking about schools, could you throw in a bit about ESL, about English as a second language schooling? That would be great as well. Thanks.
For sure, yes. So, I mean, elementary school or secondary school, it's, you can see there's about 33 elementary schools and 13 secondary schools in Kamloops. ESL, you can do ESL through the Kamloops Immigrant Service, or actually Thompson Rivers University do have ESL classes from level 1 to level 5. I mean, lots of international students that when they want to study at Thompson Rivers University, they do have an assessment to be done by the school, and then they will be placed into a certain level of the ESL classes. So the cost of doing ESL is reasonable, and because if you have the immigrant status, the permanent resident status, then yeah, you are paying way less than international students. So the school system, actually, that's the website right on this slide. So school73.bc.ca, you can find all this information about what school. There's really, like I said, it's really a really convenient community, because all the school is, like you can see here, about 33 elementary schools. So there's always a spot for you if you think that school is great for you or is closer to your location. So post-secondary education, like I mentioned earlier, TRU or even the Sparshar Community College, they are all have different type of programs that are really easy to access to. And definitely, most of the schools, they would like to do assessment based on your English level if you are able to attend those academic classes. So this is one of the steps they might do. So I mentioned this, I probably want to talk about a little bit about the international credential evaluation. So some people will think about, yeah, I do have a degree, say back in China, and I want to know if I can just use that degree to apply for a job, or should I upgrade it to the Canadian, to equivalent to a Canadian system as well. So the International Credential Evaluation Service, that is one of the services that provided by BCIT. So in Vancouver, so they can do the evaluation. Either they will ask the school to send them the original transcript, and then do an evaluation based on that particular information. And actually, TRU, they have their own assessments as well. So if you have your transcript or your education certification, you can bring back to them. They will do evaluation based on the school. And again, they will degree and then to see the content of the courses that you have taken, and to find out if that's what the equivalent to. You might need a couple courses in order to gain the degree in Canada, but again, there's some people have to do that because of different system, right? Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll just add, from an employment aspect, often if you're coming to Canada and wanting to pursue your career, say you're an engineer or an accountant, there's also, those are regulated industries in British Columbia, and there's the same kind of international accreditation process. For example, the Chartered Professional Accountants, they have, just like BCAP, they will have a body that will review your transcripts and that kind of thing. So make sure that you bring, when you're coming to Canada or short landing or permanent landing, please bring all your important documentation with you. That's really, really critical. And even think about references as well. So that's great. Thanks, Marshall. I have another question, a couple questions for you. How far is Kamloops from Vancouver and Victoria? So maybe for folks that aren't too familiar with BC, you could explain where Victoria is in relation to the mainland, the lower mainland.
Well, Victoria is the island, right? It's the capital of the BC. But if you look at Vancouver, Kamloops, the distance around 360 kilometers, I would say. So it's not really far away, just that Highway 1 basically connects Kamloops and Vancouver. It takes about 3.5 hours to get to Vancouver.
Great, thank you so much. I have another. This is a weather question, and I smile because I'm sure people talk around about the weather all over the world, but I think in Vancouver and in British Columbia, we like to think we talk about the weather constantly.
Yes.
So this question is, tell me about the weather in Kamloops. Is it very humid? We hear that the weather in Vancouver is very humid and raining a lot. And that makes people feel maybe a little sad. I'll take the Vancouver part if you take the Kamloops part. How's that?
Sure. The Kamloops actually is more like semi-desert kind of weather. It's really dry actually. Kamloops doesn't rain a lot at all. So like I mentioned, it's really distinct seasons. So spring, summer, fall, and winter is really, you can distinguish from each. So if you look at the humidity side, that you think about, like Vancouver is not at all. No. And when I first go, because I came from Shenzhen, so it's similar weather to Vancouver, but when I went to Kamloops, it's a feeling, it's really dry. So even in summertime, you're sweating, but it's not really, it's kind of dry sweat feeling. Yeah.
Now in Kamloops in the wintertime, do you get a lot of sunny days with like blue sky and clouds sometimes, or do you have, it varies, right? You'll have snow, or is it snow every day, or is it snow once a month, or what is it like?
You mean the wintertime, the snow?
Yeah.
The snow doesn't really last that long. A lot of people think about it's really, really cold, like cold, and get up north, then even colder, right? But in Kamloops, actually, the winter is kind of short. It snows for, say, a couple of days, maybe, than maximum 4 days. But it just stops, and you can see the ground is covered with white. It's really beautiful. So it doesn't really last that long. Like I said, even the coldest temperature, we're looking at minus 30, but it only lasts for a day or two.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just something that you gotta encounter, but it's not like that you have to deal with it every single day.
And it's different from Vancouver and in Lower Mainland in that we are very rainy here. We have big, beautiful, tall, 100-foot evergreen trees, right? So we have a lot of forestry in the Lower Mainland on Vancouver Island. So we have a lot more rain. And I would say my visits to Kamloops, it's almost like semi-desert. It's very dry and lots of flat, rolling farmland and agriculture. So even the terrain is quite, and mountains too for skiing. So you do get snow there. But Vancouver would be, of the two cities, would you say Vancouver would be more or less rainy than Kamloops?
Oh, for sure, Vancouver more rainy than Kamloops.
And this evening, we're having a very big, our first fall rainstorm. It started yesterday, and we're having many days of rain, possibly. So I think in the fall and winter in Vancouver, from about usually November to end of February is our rainy season. And that gives us our big, beautiful trees and the snow on the mountains at Whistler and that kind of thing. So that's good. All right. So another question. Is there an airport in Kamloops? I think you mentioned that, but can you tell us a bit more?
Yes, there is an airport in Kamloops. Actually, you can take a flight from Kamloops to Vancouver. Although driving it takes about 3 hours and a half, but the flight actually takes 15 minutes to Vancouver Airport. Yeah.
Oh, quick. And somebody wants to know, Marshall, what do you love most about Kamloops? You lived there a long time. How many years were you in Kanloop?
Yeah, I lived there for 15 years. I was there in 2001. I left in 2016, 15, kind of thing. But yeah, the Kanloop is really nice. Like I said, I really enjoy the nature. All this, resource skiing, all this outdoor sports. That's what I interest. I love fishing. I love golfing. So there's tons of places that I can go to for these particular activities.
And how accessible would it be? Like in Vancouver, we say we have to drive an hour-ish to get to the mountains. Whistler is an hour and a half away. I mean, I could go kayaking from work here, really. If I had a kayak at work, it would take me 15 minutes. But in Kamloops, how close is the nature? Like, how far do I have to go?
So basically, in that, you can see that on the map, Kamloops is two rivers merging together, right? So that river is really accessible to everybody. We do have a Thompson River Park there, so a lot of people, a lot of events, even the Canada Day events, it's there. So you can do, boats, boat fishing over there along the side the bank of the river. And also, like I mentioned earlier, the Harper Mountain is the closest mountain you can go to. It's only 20 minutes away from us, from Kamloops. And then, but if you want to do a better one or more activities, some big cities is an option there. And I do have a friend who lives in Kamloops, and he always come back and go to Kamloops as well. The traffic is nothing we can compare to Vancouver, which is always jam-packed, right? So it's a really nice area that you enjoy outdoor activities.
Great. Question for you. Do you have to have a car to get around in Kamloops? Is it possible to walk? Are things fairly close? Can I use transit? Do you have rideshare? In Vancouver, because we have a huge population here, we have you pay by the quarter hour little smart cards to take around. Or biking, cycling, motorcycling, what do people do there?
Now, Kamloops actually is more like a spread out community. So, walking is still okay, but I will rather recommend biking or taking the public transit. Getting a vehicle definitely is a good thing to have because you can access to more areas. But you can just sort of walking distance. If you're living in downtown Vancouver, and you want to walk from downtown to Thompson Rivers University, that actually going to take about almost 15 minutes to walk. But if you live in downtown area, definitely it's really easy to access walking distance. There's tons of different things that you can access to. The mall, coffee shop, even the park is just close by. So it depends on where you live, though. Right?
Absolutely. Let's see what should we ask you. Do you have any advice, as you come from China many years ago, what would be your advice on someone that's moving to a new country? So you're coming to Canada or Kamloops. What would be like your kind of tips? You're planning to relocate yourself and your family from China. What are things that I should consider?
I think the first thing that you want to consider is what you want to do. Like I'm talking about jobs. Right, so employment is one of the key things to your life. And as long as you settle down, a lot of people just say, okay, where I can go to, what company I can apply to. That could become a question, especially people with international credential, and they don't know how to transfer that particular piece of paper into Canadian system. And that creates a lot of frustration. So I would recommend if you do more research about the labor market in that particular city, such as Kamloops, and you know what companies actually are out there, and you might be able to qualify for those type of jobs. So the web page, the job search website is always good to find out a lot more information. So you type in the keyword about the occupation that you want to do, and look at the qualification that they require. So then you can see either they require experience or require certain type of certification or any kind of skills that are needed. So then you can evaluate yourself. Are you able to meet those requirements? So my tips for you definitely is try to figure out what you want to do for employment. And because that, like I said, plays a major part of your life. Finding housing, finding school, those type of things is really easy in Kamloops. That's not a concern that I have. This is just how to get the employment that is ideal to you. And I know a lot of people have to sacrifice to say, I work for some entry-level position first, but sometimes it's good to have because you can actually get more Canadian work experience, and we call them like soft skills. So when you gain that, you know how the system works, and you have more experience to that particular system, so you might be able to have more skills and more experience and transfer to other occupation or the occupation that you intend to get into.
Great, thank you. Just because I'm going to pick your brain as a job developer, and you've been a case manager, you've done all the different roles in employment services over the last 5 years. When you're trying to break into a new market, including Kamloops or Vancouver, would your approach be, I guess it depends really where you are, but would you go to all the job portals like we shared the resources, or is it better to come to the new city and start to build your own network? What do you think would be, what's a good strategy?
I think definitely it's good to look up the job postings that are online, so to try to get a sense of what is in demand at the moment in that particular area. But it's always good to check out the city. You experience, you witness it about what's going on over there, so you have an understanding if you like it or not. I have somebody actually from Vancouver. They say, well, while considering downsizing, we consider moving to a not so busy city, so they consider Kamloops. So I give them some advice about what area they should, look at, the housing, those kind of things. They went there, they check it out, they like it. So eventually, actually, they move there. So it's always your personal impression about that city. If you feel this is a good, opportunity over there, definitely you check them out first.
Great, thank you, Marshall. We've got time for a couple more questions. So if there's any kind of burning question that you have about Kamloops, this is your opportunity. We can also collect your questions at the end of the webinar, and we'll do our best to get back to you in the next couple of days. Yeah, okay, we've got a question, an IT question. I was going to ask that one, so thank you for asking. So for IT system testing, can you tell us what the job opportunities are there and what IT companies are there?
I don't record a particular company right now, but I mean, for every organization, they do need IT person. Even the BC Lottery Corporation, I remember 2 years ago, actually they posted almost 10 job posting for their technical support positions. So like I said, it's every organization pretty much needing the IT support. So for technical issue though, like for sure, definitely is something that has to be dealt with by the specialist. So if you do have that kind of background, and you can demonstrate to them that you have these kind of skills, it's always welcomed by them. And Kamloops, like I said, it's a very welcoming city, friendly. They are not resist to trying new person from other country.
Great, thank you. Do they have a lot of career expos? In tech, we just finished our very successful virtual career expo, which is online. But when you're living in Kamloops, are there like in-person ones that you can go to? Do the employers hold a lot of those, or the WorkBC? Do you find that a popular tool?
WorkBC actually has a job fair pretty much every year. So that's the one thing that you can go to have more job search. And then sometimes the employers might set up the mini job fair at the library, and also in a hotel setting as well. So I mean, it is there's some job fairs going on in Kamloops, but that not that many as I can see.
Great. It may be time for one or two more questions. This question is about French language. We talked a bit about English for second language, but is there a lot of French spoken in Kamloops? French is one of our 2 official languages in Canada.
Yes.
And I know BC is predominantly English speaking, but do you encounter a lot of French? And what about French immersion classes?
So Kamloops also is a designated location for French service as well for WorkBC. But I don't see there's a huge population for people who speak French. But French immersion program is always a program that's available to people who would like to use that particular service. School District number 73, their French immersion classes they began back in 1979, so they still have that continue till now.
Great, thank you. Last question would be, as a newcomer coming from China, and I'm going to land in Kamloops and I'm going to get oriented, can I get services in Chinese through some of the community organizations to help me and help my children assimilate into the community when I arrive?
So WorkBC is one of the service that we can utilize interpreter service that we can serve a client who has a limited English skill. The other organization you mentioned earlier, which is the Kanloop Immigrant Services, they do have people who can speak Chinese, either Mandarin or Cantonese, on the spot that can provide a service. The other one is the Taiwanese Cultural Association, which is we didn't have that website on our page because the website is currently down. Yeah. But they do provide that support as well.
Great. So 2 questions. One is someone's asked if we can go back to the slide with the employment websites, the job portal, so I'll flip back to that while you're answering this question. And it's related to careers in law, and specifically, is it easy to find a paralegal job in Kamloops? And I think that'll be all of our questions for today.
So paralegal job is quite popular in Kamloops. One of the slides that we talk about finance and law, those type of positions, it's always available. And then even Sprott Community College, they provide a lot of paralegal assistant programs in Kanloop. So it definitely demonstrates a need for that particular sector. So if you think about like finance job in this particular profession, it's not difficult in Kanloop.
Excellent. Great. I think that's time for all of our questions. Thank you everyone for submitting your questions. They're really, really thoughtful, and lots of, I can tell people are really engaged with what you're talking about Kamloops. And I know in speaking with Marshall, you get super excited when you're talking about Kamloops. Like, we've lived there for a long period of time, and it is such an amazing place, you know. And you get super excited.
Have a lot of things you want to discuss, but I think
we need more time. That's another webinar, right? So hopefully everyone has jotted down the websites that we both recommend. This is kind of a combined list of job search engines. So Indeed, Wow Jobs, WorkBC, I think a great website. It has so much labor market information and career profiles and how much, you know, salary and how many people, what the growth of the industry is going to be. Craigslist, Eluta, BC Jobs, and LinkedIn, of course, if you're able to access that. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up already. So thank you on behalf of Intact Pre-Arrival Services, Marshall. We so want to thank you for joining us today. It's just a pleasure to have you, and thank you for telling us so much about Kamloops. And really, you know, we can put stats up on PowerPoints, but you really put a personal face to Kamloops, and we can tell from your enthusiasm it's such a great place to live. So thank you for joining us. If we have any questions, here's Marshall's information. He's very kindly shared his email address with us. So it's marshall.chen@gmail.com. And you can always...
Sorry, I have to correct that.
Okay.
There's no dots in between.
Oh, okay, so it's all together. So I'll just say it, marshallchen@gmail.com. Thank you for catching that. It was my typo. You can also look for Marshall on his LinkedIn and reach out to him there and let him know that you were attending his webinar today. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, you can reach us here at Intact Pre-Arrival Services. That's our website. We have an English language website, I should say, and also Chinese. So ways that you can connect with us. And also, we would like to thank our funder, the Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, and our program partners, International Talent Center, which is an initiative of the Ottawa Chinese Community Service Center, ISS of BC, Immigrant Service Society of BC, and also Immigrant Services of Calgary. And our last slide. So that concludes our webinar for today. And if you would like to, we'd love it if you take a couple of minutes to complete our online poll. And Charles has got the survey up for everyone. So thank you again on behalf of Intact for joining us today. I hope you've picked up some really valuable and useful information. And yeah, please send us your questions if you have any. Thank you very much. And have a great day. Thank you, Marshall. Okay, bye-bye now.